Hello, 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 and welcome to another weekly challenge video. In today's video, I'd like to go over how I got to this rank 1, and a special shout out to Big Take Dictator Boss, or Estrella on Discord. He figured out a lot of the tenets of this run, and perfected it to this point, and I just passed him a couple hours later after seeing his video. So link in the description box. Go check that out so you can see his replay and compare. So I'll go over the basics of this week's challenge and then our strategy, well, Astrea's strategy to getting some of the early kills. We go Altar of Peace after killing Imo, well, after taking their capital, and we get these 4 ruins. There aren't many starfish, but one of my improvements in this run, from Astrea's run, is to get some of the starfish early. They're right here and here, and there's one right here. I could have got that a turn earlier, or maybe it's right here. I can't remember. I could have got that one a turn earlier, and that will be a small improvement. And Xingji getting their killer monument will be a slight improvement for this week. So if you're watching this video and want to improve on this score, those are some good areas to look out for. But anyway, the hallmarks of this run are this early capture on the village and this early ruin capture. This one gives riding. This one gives pop if it's unfogged, explore if it's not unfogged, and 2 swordsman ruins in the back that are really more about bonus points and getting the lava spread for the bank. Is it called a lava bank? Yeah, it's called the lava bank when you're Solaris, which is cute, I guess. Um, so once we get riding in this village, then we'll start chipping away at Imo, bouncing to this one, and we'll be getting these 2 villages and their capital on the same turn. So let's go ahead and play through some of these turns. You can see that Imo goes for this ruin, just like Luxador last week, and we get a pop ruin from that, just like Luxador, which is really cool. Get some extra upgrades, which helps us get an extra monument out of the deal. So there's riding, and we go rider and rider. Again, this is um Shreya's strategy that he figured out. Full credits to him. This is all copied from his video. Okay, so you can see here, he went Park of Fortune right after getting Altar of Peace, and it gets a catapult for whatever reason. We whack that sucker, and then we bounce onto this village. We meet Jingji this turn, and you'll see this here in a second. We go up to 22 stars, and that's really important because that's exactly enough. Yeah, I guess you didn't really see us go 22 stars. There it is. That's really important because then we can get climbing and geothermics, which is just mining, and an upgrade. And that gives us the pop slot and 3 stars left over to get one more rider so we can capture this on time. You could go org here, but I think mining is just better because it gets you upgrades everywhere, except for your capital, but everywhere else. And plus, it's a tier 2 tech, so getting it earlier saves you money down the road. This is what the Solaris metal resources look like, by the way. It's a little wonky. So as you can see here, there's this cute little bit of micro that Shreya figured out to siege this and siege this one at the same time. So we go ahead to move both those in range, bounce that back, siege with the warrior. That's good. And the capital was at 1 HP and it was burnt or whatever the frozen equivalent is. So we just killed it with the rider and then we go ahead and move the units forward because why not? Okay, so at this point we just get our upgrades for a couple of turns. We already know what's on the board at this point. We go meditation before capture. That's really important too. So turn 8 to turn 13 are your meditation no attack turns in this strategy. And that gives you just enough time to go philosophy and lava bank right on time. So we go for a couple extra upgrades. We get the monument placed down over here. So we can get a workshop here, and we still have 2 stars for a warrior right here. Um, Something I messed up. I don't know if you saw, but I also have 5th place on the Umvis account. That's the streaming account that I'm doing to 1900 with just Umaji. On that account, I make the mistake of moving this warrior back here. That gets really obnoxious, and um, for those of you who don't know, Moonies and Pyros, when they freeze enemy units, that counts as an attack, unlike a Mindbender. So if you're freezing the units, then that resets your um attack counter, your pacifist counter, which is really awful if you're on turn 3 or 4. So if you put this warrior back here, the warrior can chase it, kill it, and then suddenly it's liable to get frozen when you're exploring this corner for these two monument or for these two ruins. So this is a surprisingly important detail. That screwed me up for about 800 score if I compare my last run to this run. So make sure you do that. I think I go orc here. It's kind of feels weird because instinctively I want to rush philosophy before getting anything else, but it's actually slightly better as far as I'm aware to get your upgrades first. Well, these upgrades, of course, make sense, but I think it's better to get org. I haven't done the exact math, but also turn 9, another important little detail. Getting these 2 pyros out so you can start exploring. That's really useful. Helps everything get done on time. You also don't really care about this village, so Estrella in his run skipped it for a long time, and I skip it here too. This is a slight difference. Um, yeah, so the idea here is to move this pyro here, and then go for this ruin, and then send the pyros to unfog this ruin for pop the following turn. And I'll get this lighthouse at the same time as we get the pop ruin, or a turn before we get the pop ruin, actually. Um, I also have this moment here where I think there's a slight improvement that can be done here. I'm not entirely sure, but I realize here in a second that I have just enough stars to go straight next turn if I save everything, which I think is what Shreya did in his run. But I would have to heal this, and I run the risk here of IMO hitting first, and then the Shinji warrior killing, and then you have to break peace to unsiege that, which is bad, of course, de facto. So here, I actually just go double warrior, even though that precludes lava bank next turn, which is unfortunate. And I feel like there's definitely a way around that, but I'm not sure how. Okay, so here instead, I believe I go for. What do I go for? I guess we'll find out. See, there's Varying Sword Swing Ruins. There's that. So over here, we're setting up to attack this village. You can see here, we're all set up for next turn. We'll be able to freeze it and then kill it just fine. This Mindbender is because this IMO warrior comes over this way for whatever reason. It doesn't really make sense that they go for your Mindbender, but there you go. Bots don't make sense. Newsflash. So I kind of save for 2 turns, which is weird. I don't super love it, but Yeah, then I go for the board growth and the ice bank, or sorry, lava bank here. Yeah, that's the tech I have. You'll see here in a second I go for it, but I guess I attack this first. And I just bounce to make sure I unsiege. Or siege just fine. Convert to there. Alter a piece for 5 stars there, which is handy. And spend 5 stars to get an upgrade somewhere around here. Anyway, somewhere about turn 14 is where I really start diverging from Australia. Not that much, granted. Oh yeah, I spent 5 stars to get Mindbender here. But enough that it nets me some extra score. So I delay this one for as long as I can because in the run I did previously, I got a board growth on this save before board growing this save. It's gave me this tile, and I feel like maybe there's a way to rush this, say, capture. I was able to siege and capture the city like on turn 13 to 14 as well on my last run, but other stuff didn't pan out, so not sure what's best here. Can also tell here that I'm moving towards the starfish. We can't see them right now because I don't have the sledding tech or whatever it's called, steam engines. Um, Moving towards that, I'm going to get that a couple of turns earlier than Estrella did. Okay, so then here, I'm just maximizing my economy. Managed to get like +2 SPT on Estrella, and I think that makes a big difference in the long run. So that's part of why Estrella put this crater right here. This is actually kind of important too, because that connects over here and it connects over here, which allows it to connect over here too. This is all, or the crater positionings early game is all pretty carefully mapped out. Okay, so yeah, another upgrade. I don't know if you guys caught it, but I sacked a rider there to get that upgrade this turn. And I go for 2 more mind benders just to convert everything that Zhengji's got. Okay, some easy upgrades. Easy upgrades. Squish the fish. I would have liked to not squish the fish. Oh, actually, I could have destroyed that, caught the fish, and placed down the crater again. That probably would have been cheaper than. Oh, actually, no, it wouldn't have been. Okay, that's one of my last upgrades. And so I was looking and seeing if I could make it better somehow. I chop this forest, maybe you can get away with not chopping that forest too, and that would cheapen the upgrade. So you can see here, I sacrificed some of the speed in order to convert more stuff. I don't know if that's actually worth it, but I don't really need this upgrade until they get the say to level 5, because them getting the monument and placing the monument down is more than covers the cost of them getting a giant instead of a park, especially if I convert the giant. So yeah, we go forestry mass. That's becoming a classic transition in this run. Get a little upgrade. And then Rogues Connect. Yeah. Okay, there's the giant pop, but you can see we do some cute micro to freeze everything. I send another pyro over here, and there's the starfish. So looks like this third starfish is up here. This firing swordsman is in excellent position to grab that, but I didn't have any position right on time. So all in all, I think the main difference is I had this round where I managed to squeeze out a couple extra upgrades. Um, I haven't done the hard work comparing exactly where that was. But honestly, most of my differences come in the last half of the game. So here, for instance, I go for um osteophagy. Is that how you say it? Osteophagy, whatever. The research of bones to um get some extra upgrades here. Whenever I know that I'm going to be upgrading, one say with mostly monuments, I just like to do it as early as I can. So we'll upgrade here. And yeah, we just upgrade that as quickly as we can. The early osteophagy, or however you say that, lets me get two of these extra upgrades earlier. That's a slight difference. I also get a board growth on this city because we have two fish that make up the difference. Almost two fish and one crater. Let's get these four extra tiles, which, every little bit helps. I only get the income from the save for one turn, but we do cross over 110 SPT, which is really good for Polaris, especially in this week's run. So you can see that I'm hitting some of the benchmarks on score a little bit quicker than Astrea's run is. And that's just slight optimizing. I'm sure that you guys will be able to take this and optimize even more. Yeah, some creators to upgrade to that. One more upgrade there. I think that there's like a couple of early upgrades that I missed. It's kind of fun to have this week not use knights at all. Like they're just one of the end decks. Oh yeah, this was my last big upgrade. And I kept most of my units because it's more efficient, as I've talked about in previous weeks, to chop, as long as it's not losing you more than two population. It's more efficient to do that than to disband units. So if it's chopping and taking away three pop, then it becomes beneficial or more beneficial to disband your 5-star units to get 2 stars because that only costs you 15. Well, it costs you um 7.5 score extra per disband. There's You don't have to figure out the math. You can just trust me that it's better up to 3 stars. And the math works out if you want to check it out. Anyway, that's my round for this week. I don't think I'm going to be working on this weekly challenge the rest of the week because I want to get these video or get the streams um working through YouTube as well, so you can watch the streams on YouTube along with Twitch. So that's what I'll be working on instead of the weekly challenge this week. But in the meantime, if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. That really helps out the channel, and I hope that these videos are helping you out with these weekly challenges. I really enjoy them. I enjoy the community effort that we get. Again, I think there are some minor upgrade improvements that could net you some star efficiency and get you just a couple extra pop score. I think maybe there's a way to get Jingji's gay power. If we look at this and then go to their perspective, we could even see what they're at. They're 6 out of 10, so if you can somehow farm 4 more kills for them, then that's another 400 score. But it might not be worth it. Something to keep in mind. And there was one other thing oh, this starfish turned earlier. And I'm sure there's a couple of other things I haven't thought of that would increase the score and get people to 25k this week. But yeah, excited to see what you guys make of this. And if you enjoyed, well, we'll see you in the next one. Ciao.